Hey there, everybody! I'm sorry for this introduction. I know it's normally the weird, freaky, yawky mo guy. I just want to talk about this. This video was very important, I believe. It is talking about the differences in how time works in a language. This sounds like a strange thing, but I'm going to talk about it in the video. In order to explain this properly, we had to first talk about a grammar point where we put a clause in front of toki, and we're going to talk about all of that. Don't worry. Then I had to explain how to identify major clauses versus subordinate clauses, so to speak, the main clause, the subordinate clause, all those different terms for clauses that you probably don't know, like the Santa Clauses and the Nicolas Cages. Anyway, that's a dumb joke. And then we actually talk about how time is different. So I broke this into 3 videos because if you actually look at the 3 videos, they're like altogether 40 to 50 minutes long. So instead of sending you down a plop a 50-minute long lesson, I kind of just assumed that most of you don't know all the stuff I'm about to talk about, and I broke it into 3 lessons again. Again, the 3 lessons are going to be talking about identifying clauses and the actual grammar of the actual meaning of this pattern toki, and then how to identify which one's the main clause, which one's the subordinate clause, and then we talk about the actual differences between times. So try to watch these 3 in order. I will put them with the same thumbnail on YouTube, and I hope this helps. Leave a comment, so share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hit a water bottle. Have a great day. Hey there, everybody, this is Evan Rogers, and I'm coming here to talk to you about Toki. Japanese time is different than American slash English slash the language of English, which is spoken in America. So it's American time, isn't it? The time in Japanese and your English, or if you're from some other country and I don't know what language you speak, that language is probably different than what's going on in Japanese and English, whatever, blah, blah. I've made my point clear. I'm rambling already. So what we are talking about is linguistically, English has very much the idea of a past tense, and we have a whole bunch of other stuff happening in the past. Japanese, we call verbs like ata, arimashita, kaimashita, wasuremashita, all those mashtas and those atas and those katas and those nondas, all of those we generally call past tense when we're teaching it, but that's really just to make it easier on the student. So we're going to look at this lesson, which comes from the Yokoso book. This is, I think it's chapter 7 from the Yokoso book. Yokoso is a textbook. I saw this and I was teaching out of it today, and I thought this is a good thing, and I should make a video about this. So in case you're not familiar with this, the word toki is time. It means time, and temporal clauses ending in toki. Temporal just means time related. A clause, this is going to be an important word, so if you don't know clauses, just pause it right now. Go check out my fancy language words video that talks about what a clause is. You're going to learn about main clauses and ordinate clauses and subordinate clauses and all that sort of stuff. But just to put it shortly, a clause is anytime you have a subject and a predicate. A subject is what does something, or the thing that is something, and a predicate is everything that is not the subject. So the dog ate pizza, the dog would be the subject, and ate pizza would be the predicate. Or she is cute. She is the thing that is cute, so she's the subject, and what is she? She is cute. What's left over is the predicate. So anytime you have a subject and a predicate, you have a clause. Most sentences are clauses. Many sentences are many clauses. When you watch my NHK articles, if you're actually watching those, you should. We've run into like 4 clause sentences. A sentence has 4 clauses in it. The most common type of a situation where a clause is different than a sentence is when you get into cause and effect. That's usually the easiest one to see. Because he was scary, the girl ran away, right? He was scary. That's a clause. He is the thing that was scary, predicate. Subject, he was scary, predicate. And then we have she ran away. She, subject, she is the thing that ran away. Okay. What's going to be important when we talk about this is the idea of which one of these clauses in a multi-clause sentence is going to be the main clause, okay? And we'll get into that in the future. We'll talk about that when we get there. But let me just teach this toki pattern first, okay? So we have きれいなブラウスですね. きれいなブラウスですね. Just trust me if you don't understand this. This means きれいなブラウスですね. That is a pretty or a cute, something like that. Blouse, isn't it? So notice there's no actual subject listed. Japanese regularly leaves out the subject. So Brown-san is talking to Machida-san, and Brown-san says, that's a pretty blouse. She said, and then Machida-san replies with, この間. Frequently that's just pronounced as この間. Anyway, この間、デパートでセールがあった時買ったんです. The des is just giving a reason for why, Brown comments on her blouse, so she gives a reason for its existence, so to speak. Regularly just translate this as, it's that. It's that, kata. I bought it, depato de, at a department store. Konoida, recently, or just a little while ago. Depato de, at a department store. It's that I bought it. Seiru ga atta toki, when there was a sale. So seiru ga atta is its own clause, okay? So this is a clause. Seiru ga, a sale, atta, there is, or really there was. There was a sale, so there was a sale. A sale is the thing that was. So there was a sale. We have a subject, seiru ga, and a predicate, atta, and it's going into the noun. So we have a noun, toki, and an entire clause, seiru ga atta, is going into that noun. And we can do this. And when we do that, we get the noun, then a relative pronoun, that or who or when this thing happened. So we could translate this as the time when there was a sale, I bought it. We could do that, but really it just works better as when there was a sale. When there was a sale. When there was a sale. So, この間デパートでセールがあった時買ったんです. I bought it at a department store when there was a sale recently. 町田さんはよく買い物に行くんですか? Is it that you go shopping frequently? Just trust me, that's what it says if you don't understand the grammar. 今度 another time, or recently, or next time. 行く時 Brown-san mo sasoimashou. Okay, so sasoimasu, sasou is the verb I will invite, to invite somebody. The masho ending is called tentative, so how's about time, or she's thinking to herself, oh, how about I invite you next time? So kondo iku toki. So iku, I will go. Notice how there's no I in the sentence, but I will go toki. When I will go again. And then the kondo is kind of working like the word again. When I go next time, when I go again, Brown-san, mo sasoimashou. I will invite you, Brown. How about we go together? I will entice you with shopping. All right, that's what's happening. This toki is having a clause shoved in front of it, and it's translating as when the clause happens. And then what comes after it is another clause. So when clause X happens, clause Y will happen, or something like that. So it's when something goes on, another thing will take place. That's this kind of sentence that we're making with this toki as a temporal clause ending in toki. When something happens. Yeah, that's how they're translating it, when something happens. Okay, so I'm going to skip the rest of this conversation. We're going to look at a few example sentences. And I want to talk about how these are all clauses, even though they don't look like it. Oops, I scrolled down too far. Excuse me. Okay, so let's look at this. The translation is, when I was a child, I went to Disneyland. Okay, so let's look at the main clause, the meat and potatoes. De, with a small e, Disneylando ni itta koto ga arimasu. I have been to Disneyland. Itta, past tense of ikimasu, iku, ikimasu, itta, ikimashita, went. And then when you end a past tense, or I should call this, really it's a perfective. These are actually perfectives. And we're going to talk about that. We call it a past tense to help the learner. As a teacher, we're going to say that. But really it's a perfective. Really what it is a perfective. The action is done. So the having gone to Disneyland is over. The going to Disneyland is done. Koto ga arimasu. When we end it with koto ga arimasu, that means I have gone. I have done whatever the verb is. So Disneyland ni itta koto ga arimasu. I have been to Disneyland. And it says kodomo no toki. Kodomo no toki. Notice it looks like it's just a noun followed by a no followed by another noun. And we see this all the times, like watashi no enpitsu, my pencil. Kanojo no kaban, her bag, right? So it's usually just reflective. It usually just shows ownership. However, one of the better translations of no is whenever you have one noun modifying another noun. So here we have kodomo modifying toki. And so we put a no between them. Whenever you have one noun modifying another noun, we put a no between them. Okay, so kodomo no toki, the time that is described as child. That doesn't really work. So I want to talk about how this no really quickly. It's operating like the word des or da or de aru, one of those copulants. This is very much working and operating like the word des. If you think about it, I mean, look at the English translation. When I was a child, right? That when I was a child. Look, there's no I and there's no was. There's just child's time. The child's time. So notice how this, if we just left it right there, that could be a sentence. Watashi wa kodomo desu. I am a child. Watashi wa, I am a child. Kodomo desu, right? I am a child. Watashi wa kodomo desu. We could say watashi ga kodomo no toki. We could say that. Watashi ga kodomo no toki. Watashi ga kodomo no toki. And it would mean the same thing. However, we kind of already know who's doing everything. So let's leave off watashi ga. Okay, so we're just going to leave off watashi ga because obviously the person speaking is talking about themselves. I shouldn't say obviously, but without context, that's what we assume. Without this being part of a conversation, that's what we assume. So notice how it's watashi ga kodomo desu toki. And notice how the des sort of, quote unquote, becomes a no. So in a way, this no is actually a copula. All of those apostrophe S things that you've been learning that mean it's my bag, it's her book. Technically, you're actually saying it's the book that is me. It is the book that is the book that is Evan. So anyway, I'm talking too much about this. Watashi ga kodomo no toki, when I was a child. Kodomo de aru toki, when I was a child. So this no is operating like this. Kodomo no toki, Disneyland ni itta koto ga arimasu. As a child, when I was a child, I have been to Disneyland. I went to Disneyland. I have the experience of having gone to Disneyland when I was a child. Something like that. Okay. Notice again, this no is operating like des. That's important. I should make a video on that on its own, but I think it's important to notice that. All right. Next, e-adjectives. E-adjectives operate just like verbs. You just stick them right before a noun and they operate. They operate properly. You just put the e-adjective form of the verb in front of a noun. Here the noun's going to be toki. And it means when something is or was, whatever the e-adjective is. Okay? So kondo, again, or another time, niku ga yasui toki. Okay, so just look at this. Niku ga yasui is a sentence. In fact, we could take even the kondo in there. Kondo, niku ga yasui. The next time or some other time, meat is cheap. Meat will be cheap, maybe. So notice, we don't need des after it. If you're not at the level where you're not familiar with how, if you're still at the level where you think des exists in every sentence, which it kind of feels that way when you're learning, it doesn't need to. The e-adjectives by themselves have the word is in them. So the idea of be in them. So kondo niku ga yasui. Next time that meat is cheap. So notice how the is cheap is in the word yasui, is cheap. Kondo, again or another time, niku ga, the meat yasui, is cheap toki. So we're going to translate this as like the time when meat is cheap again. So aka when the meat is cheap again. Sukiyaki o tsukurimashou. How's about we make some sukiyaki? How's about tsukurimashou? How's about we make tsukurimashou? How's about we make some sukiyaki? Kondo niku ga yasui toki, when meat is cheap again, or next time meat is cheap, sukiyaki o tsukurimashou. How's about we make some meat? So notice e adjective goes directly into toki. And this doesn't seem surprising to anybody, but I want to point out that yasui has the idea of is cheap. So the meat is cheap time kind of an idea is what's going on here. Anyway, so that'll be important because that is a clause. Niku ga yasui is a sentence. It is a clause. Niku ga yasui, the meat is cheap. Okay? Here when we say kondo, it changes it to like it changes it to the next time that meat will be cheap. But let's keep on going. Okay, so you might remember we were talking about kodomo no toki and how this no is operating kind of like des. And it's like, oh, that's weird how that worked out. Check out how no operates very similarly to na. Just that on that O change sound, right? N-O, n-ah, right? No, na, and then we have na adjectives when really they're very similar to nouns, right? Okay, so hima na toki, mata kimasu. Mata, again, kimasu, I will come, or I come, or something like that. Again, insert jokes here. Hima, free time, or when I am free, the free time related, it's strange it's an adjective, but it is. Hima na toki, when I have free time, mata kimasu, I will come again. However, hima is a na adjective, so this is a little bit strange to work with, but let's just think about how we might say a sentence like, watashi wa hima desu. Watashi wa hima desu. That would translate to me, I am free. And then the free idea is free time. I have free time, kind of an idea of free. Hey, Jimmy, are you free this weekend? Yeah, I'm free. That kind of an idea of free, that I have free time, free. That's the adjective that is hima, okay? So, watashi wa hima desu. Watashi wa hima desu. So notice how that would mean I have free time. I am free. But notice how that des is becoming na here to link it to another noun. So again, we do have a clause. Even though this is just a na adjective, it's a clause. It's a clause because the sentence is I am free. I am free. I have free time. I am free. That's a clause, subject and predicate. So hima na toki, when I am free, mata kimasu, I will come again. So when I'm free again, I'll come. Something like that. I'll come again when I'm free, when I have free time. Okay? That's what's going on there. And I want to point out this idea that just hima na toki is a clause. The same way that niku ga yasui is its own sentence. It is a clause. Watashi ga kodomo da desu or de aru. Watashi wa kodomo. That is a sentence. That is a clause. Okay. Next, for verbs. Just like with the adjectives, we just stick the verbs directly in front of the nouns. They talk about all this other stuff, but let's just ignore that for now. Tenisu o suru toki wa oshiete kudasai. Okay, so oshieru, oshiemasu, oshiete kudasai, oshieru. This verb is regularly translated as to teach. So your teacher is going to oshieru you. Some Japanese. Eban sensei ga nihongo oshieteru. I am teaching you Japanese. Oh ho 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 ho. Okay, so that's what oshieru is generally translated as, but here it just means let me know or tell me. So this is important. Inform, tell, let me know, teach. All of those ideas are wrapped up in the idea of oshieru, okay? Freedom. Oshiete kudasai. Please let me know. Please let me know. Please tell me. Please inform me. And then what are we going to be informing of? Tenisu o suru toki. Notice, tenisu o suru is a predicate. It is a predicate, but in Japanese there's a subject. We just don't have the subject listed. And according to this translation, it's when you are going to play tennis. So the idea is, anata wa. Sorry, again, when you use anata, you sound like you're married to somebody or like a girlfriend. Anyway, so I don't know. Let's just make up a name. Jimmy-san. Jimmy-san ga tenisu o suru. Jimmy-san ga tenisu o suru. Or maybe you are dating, so it's like, Jimmy-kun, kya? Jimmy-kun ga tennisをする. Kun doesn't necessarily mean you're dating. I'm just having fun. Okay, so the subject would be Jimmy-kun ga. So that's the subject. Lady Gaga's butt subjectifies women. Tennis o suru. He does tennis. He plays tennis. Suru's play here. And notice how Jimmy plays tennis is modifying a noun, toki. It just goes right into that toki, doesn't it? Right in there. Okay, so toki is like the time, or really we just translate it as when. I mean, let's just translate it as when here. In other situations, it can just be time, like, time. Like, time is interesting. Oh man, time changes shape. Or what would it be? Special relativity. The faster you go, time slows down. That'd be toki. But here it just means like when. So when you play tennis, let me know. Let me know when you play tennis. Does that make sense? When you, and then maybe in the future, right? When you will play tennis. So toki is like when you will play tennis. And remember, there would be a subject here, but it's understood. I mean, when you're talking to somebody, in English, we would say, when will you play tennis? But I mean, think about how redundant that is. When will you play tennis? I want to know when you are going to do something. It's not repetitive in English, but just think about how repetitive that actually is when we use the word you. I mean, if I'm looking right at you and I'm talking about you and everything has been about you, so obviously the subject should be you. So anyway, when you play tennis, let me know. And they translated to please let me know when you are going to play tennis. And then maybe we'd add the word again in there or next time or something like that. But that's what's going on here, okay? But I want to point out here that it's tennis o suru toki. Notice how it's not the perfective, the quote unquote, the past tense of suru. Here we're going to do the past tense / the perfective, the it's done. Okay? Kyoto e itta toki, kono e o kaimashita. All right, so here we have a perfective before toki, and we also have a perfective sentence ender, okay? I want to point out that does not need to be the way it is. We're going to see very shortly that we do not need to have past tense, a perfective. It doesn't need to be that way. We're going to talk about how the time works, because up until now, all of this seems no duh, Evan. Why are we going over this? I mean, thanks for the toki lesson, but how does this have to do with time? There's going to be a bombshell, and your brain's going to break in about, I don't know, when I get there in about 10 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but let's see. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you like, subscribe, and share this video to everybody you know and yell at them repeatedly until they subscribe as well. If you'd like to support me even more, head on over to patreon.com, where for just $1 a month, 3 cents a day, that's it, it's darn near free, you can help me financially keep these videos coming. And as a reward for your Patreon donations, you get access to all of the miscellaneous things that I produce to help out my own students who I teach in person, and also just things that I make for myself. And if you want a little bit more bang for your buck, head on over to Teespring, where you can get lots of fun clothing, mugs, stickers, cell phone cases, all that I've designed. More designs to come. I hope you have yourself a happy dappy day. Peace out.